Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode. And I'm really excited for today's chat because I have my special guest, Aurora Winter, with me. Aurora is an MBA creative entrepreneur who has built several seven-figure companies, best-selling author, TV writer, producer, and the founder of SamePagePublishing. Using her expertise in film and neuroscience, she helps people tell memorable stories that build brands, books, and businesses. She is also a popular media guest. Aurora has been featured on ABC, CBS, KTLA, Huffington Post, Oprah Radio, and more. Welcome to the show, Aurora.
And now, drum roll on the Lucy Liu show. Oh, the biggest claim to fame. Well, I'm looking forward to contributing to your listeners today, Lucy, and inspiring them how fiction can change reality.
That's right. And the reason for this topic is I am an avid reader of nonfiction. I read at least two nonfiction books a month. And I know you write both fiction and nonfiction books. I love both genres. And I don't know about you, Aurora. I could not have survived COVID without reading my fiction books. Like, I was not able to read any nonfiction books when I was stressed out during the worst times of the pandemic.
Well, the pandemic were why I started writing fiction again. And I wanted to just share this how fiction can change reality topic for your busy, successful female entrepreneurs, because I think sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to read fiction because we think we're just wasting time and we should read nonfiction. But actually, we need to have both inputs, the logical, sensible, how-to input, but also the inspirational or the emotional input. And during COVID, I asked myself, if not now, when? Specifically, I had always wanted to write a fantasy series like C.S. Lewis. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe inspired me so much. I realized reading that book that, gosh, writers are kind of like wizards and they can transport us to another place and time just with words on a piece of paper. And so when COVID hit, reminding us all that life is not guaranteed and you might not even have tomorrow, I decided to give myself permission to write fantasy. So I have this new fantasy series called Magic, Mystery, and the Multiverse, and it's on Kickstarter. The first book is available wide, but the next book's coming out on Kickstarter if you're interested in that. But the themes in the book, underneath an entertaining, inspiring story that actually BBC's expressed interest in turning into a TV series, is a message that really matters to me. So good books or good movies or good songs are like that. There's a message that matters. And the message that matters to me is about freedom of speech. So the evil people in Magic, Mystery, and the Multiverse are censors. And I feel strongly that it's for young adults, so, kids 10 and up could really enjoy the book. And I think, if you lecture somebody as a mom or dad, that doesn't go so well. But if you give them something interesting and engaging and entertaining to read, that perhaps opens their mind to something new. So I feel like not only is the book entertaining, but it matters to me to help cancel the cancel culture, which I'm totally against, and how fiction can change reality. Just one more quick, and then I want to hear Lucy's chiming in on this, is everything is twice created. First, you need a blueprint, and then you can create the thing. And fiction is brilliant at showing us either what not to create, like 1984 or Fahrenheit 451. Those were warning us, don't go there kind of stories. Or a song like Katy Perry's Roar, kind of became like, yeah, you're a woman, you can roar. And so we need to tap into the emotion, and we can launch movement with something that dramatizes whatever you care about. So this is why I believe and know that fiction can change reality, from Animal Farm to 1984 to various different stories that have often been in banned books, but they've helped to create things like women seeing that there could be women as the boss of the home, women voting, women entrepreneurs, women running businesses.
Yeah. Things that are reality today used to be only possible in books.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, well, for example, Star Trek was a great leader in that. The Gene Roddenberry's TV series helped people to think about equal opportunity. You know, Uhura was like a woman. Yes, she was wearing a short skirt, but she was a woman and she was a woman of color, and yet she was in a position of power. And so I see that I love it to be part of my responsibility as an author to usher in books that can make a difference. I also write nonfiction, which such as the book Turn Words into Wealth, that can be helpful and practical. But I think we need to rest our brains, and we also need to be inspired and encouraged and see some other possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for busy women, I think we get so we get so caught up in the notion and feeling of not enough. Like
Yeah,
I'm behind. I'm lacking more information. Let me read this other nonfiction book, which is great. We're learning, right? I'm an
yeah,
incessant learner myself. I'm constantly reading nonfiction books. But yeah, at the same time, it's really important to have those fiction me time downtimes because
yeah,
we have that's self-love right there. That's
yeah.
self-worth. You are worthy of having the luxury of indulging in your favorite fiction theories,
Yeah,
right?
and it could be self-care, it can be indulgence, it can be relaxation, and it can also fuel you and inspire you. Like I hope in the book Magic Mystery in the Multiverse, I have created some invitational things that were in Harry Potter. Like Harry Potter helped us remember and reconnect to the value of friendship, right? And the courage that it takes to stand up to your friends with Neville Longbottom standing up to Harry Potter. So fiction can also help remind us, why are we a mom? Why are we a business owner? Why are we doing whatever? The values that we care about can fuel us so much more than just how much money did I make this month. How about you, Lucy? What kind of books do you like reading? What genre? Do you like reading fantasy or
I'm a
thrillers or
mystery.
romance or mystery?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
sucker for mystery. A good old murder. But you know what? Like I tell my teenage daughter, she just started, I mean, she refused to read. I tried to give her
Hmm.
all types of books when she was younger, and she just hates picture books. She hated reading, period. I'm like, how could this happen? I love reading. Reading is like
Yeah.
one of my most fun hobbies. And once she became like, she's like 12 now. Once she became 10, I'm like, okay, well, let's start you up with some young, like, teenage murder books. And then
Okay.
immediately she fell in love.
Yeah.
So it's not about if you love a certain genre or not. There's a book out there for you. You
There is a
just
book
gotta
out there for you. It's a
find,
puzzle.
I just gotta find your thing, right?
Yeah.
So now when she read the back cover, she's like, FBI, okay, I don't even need to think about it. I'm in.
She'd probably like the inheritance games. That's kind of fun. You might enjoy a book that I helped a client produce and publish, Confessions of an Accidental Lawyer, which has got almost 3,000 reviews on Amazon. So it's a great whodunit sort of thing. That's inspired by a true story, Confessions of an Accidental Murder, but it's sorry, Confessions of an Accidental Lawyer, but
Yeah.
it's a legal
Um,
drama.
I don't have the book with me right now, but I think the book she's reading right now is The Confession of a accident murder. So it's just one word off, but
One word off, yeah.
one word off. But the point is, I think we really have to have a different perspective
Yeah.
and also know that even when fiction books are written, the author has to give so much work to writing enough evidence and nonfiction facts into the book as well. Just
Yeah.
like how, all these murder mysteries, they are written alongside of tons of police officers and government workers so that the details, even though the storyline might be made up, you're
Yeah.
learning about all different genres and departments of the world and of our society. And that's important. I think that's another way of learning, but it's an
Yeah.
entertaining one.
And it's kind of a puzzle, so it challenges your mind. Like one of the things I love is neuroscience, which is the study of how the brain works and how it works in communication. And one thing that I just love learning is that struggle actually grows our brain, grows the myelin in our brain. So when we are deeply focused on something and we're challenged, like you might be challenged when you're trying to figure out who done it in a murder mystery, you're trying to solve that puzzle, you're actually growing your brain. So myelin can go at billy goat trail speed, like 2 miles an hour. But if you keep practicing or you keep focusing right on the edge of your area of competence, like just 2% or 4% over where you're competent, you can grow the myelin sheath and it can change the speed by 100-fold or more. So instead of your response for, it could be for thinking, or it could also be for sports, like for an activity, like hitting that ball, can go from 2 miles an hour to 200 miles an hour. So that's another benefit of fiction, that it actually changes reality and can help you get a sharper brain, which you can then use on your everyday problems.
Absolutely. And something else that's true is that fiction books have most of the time heroes as well,
Yeah,
right? Your favorite character or a character you're rooting for
yeah,
that that you actually look up to. That's
yeah,
saving the world or saving
yeah.
the story or storyline. But because we look up to these characters, we tend to try to behave in a similar pattern. We see their heroism and their power, and that actually empowers us.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, Lucy. So
Mm,
the hero's journey is behind many books and many movies. And I believe that stories are like the DNA of humanity. And it's how humanity tries to teach the next generation and the generation after that the right way to live. Actually, data doesn't tell you how to live, doesn't tell you how to be a good person, doesn't tell you what matters. Data only tells you what is the information, but the information needs to be filtered by what is the right thing to do, or what are we attempting to do here. And those values are coming mostly from stories. It's stories that tell us, like you said, Lucy, what does it mean to be a hero? What does it mean to be the person with the white hat who's doing the good things? What does it mean to deal with challenge? Like, heroes are always facing incredible challenges, and they struggle growing their myelin, changing their brain, but then they have the epiphany, and always the hero's journey results in coming back basically with the holy grail, which you're supposed to bring back to the community and help others. So this story, Joseph Campbell wrote a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And it's basically, he made the point, he was a professor, that throughout humanity's history, there have been so many different versions of this hero's journey. Why is this story structure so prevalent? And it's exactly what you said, Lucy. We want to be guided, be inspired to be heroic. And we need to be reminded that life has struggle, it has suffering, but that doesn't mean that you're not a hero. A hero pushes through in spite of the dragon and saves the day, right? Yeah.
yeah. It's so funny that you mentioned the hero's journey. I love every hero's journey. And I think just like our lives, it goes through ups and downs, just like the
Hmm.
hero's journey. And that's exactly why we need to remind ourselves we want to live. I always say that we want to live the epic life, right? Just
Yeah.
how you have an epic scene from a movie or a book. That epicness does not come until you choose to to develop yourself, right? To
Yeah.
go through that journey, that development of yourself. So
Exactly
that is
right.
exactly what we want for every listener here is to be open to different scenes, right? Be open
Exactly.
to the ending and not attached to what's going to happen in the story, but just be open minded to be entertained by this life.
Exactly. Well, Magic Mystery of the Multiverse is a trilogy of books, and it is about a young girl, Anna, who's 13 years old, and she's from Los Angeles, like you, Lucy. And she's an aspiring actress. So she is a very confident, bold, physical, athletic girl. And she always thinks what could go right. She doesn't ever imagine what could go wrong. Her younger brother is 11 years old, and he's the opposite. He's more of an Eeyore kind of character. He's always thinking what could go wrong. And he's also recovering from cancer. So his health is frail. So we've got these two dramatically opposed characters. One is confident and outgoing and optimistic. The other one is frail and pessimistic. And they go on this adventure, kind of a Doctor Who sort of adventure through the multiverse, and they face these incredible challenges dealing with the censors who want to chop out their tongues and do other horrific things to them and the planets that they visit. But throughout, there's this theme of the siblings looking after each other. The brother is surprisingly heroic. We've come to get used to the sister always rescuing her brother who's younger and frailer. But in a dramatic scene, it's a role reversal. And the brother does something extremely heroic and surprising, facing the adversary, facing the evil censor, and saves his sister's life. And so that's important to me. I want kids and everyone to think about the love and loyalty between siblings. And I have that kind of relationship with my brother sometimes. I feel like I'm always the one looking after him. But then every now and again, it's the role reversal. And I want us to also be open to that possibility. Things don't always have to be the way that you expect them. And to, I don't know, just honor that anybody can be a hero, even the most unexpected person, even the youngest, weakest, sickest person can be heroic if they so choose.
Wow, amazing. My daughter's name is Annabelle and she's almost 13. So I'm gonna, I'm heading to Kickstarter now and yeah,
Oh,
I've
that
got my
sounds great.
copy.
Well, if you go to Kickstarter and just search Magic Mystery in the Multiverse, it's not
I,
out yet, but you can just follow, which is for free. And I would appreciate that support. It's so fun on Kickstarter because I can offer, I had I really love the cover design, but I had
well,
the
by
cover
the time
designer
this
do
episode
extra
comes
things.
out,
Oh, yes,
it's probably running, right?
it's probably running, so you'll have to edit that. But on Kickstarter, you can offer extra things. So I had full color designs of the characters and bookmarks and extra things that you couldn't offer or can't easily offer just on Amazon. So Kickstarter is a fun platform.
Perfect. Well, in your days running your multi businesses, what is a favorite quote that you go by?
Mm, you can do it. I think that the favorite quote I go by is really that you can do it attitude. Like, if there's a will, there is a way. And that what I learned, what I just shared with you a few minutes ago about myelin is like, if it's difficult, it doesn't mean you're going the wrong way. It means you're learning. Actually, what I often say is the quote that my mother always said to me is there's no growth in the comfort zone. So beware the comfort zone. There's no growth there. And it's easy for us to coast, right? I've reinvented myself every decade or every couple of years with different businesses because I'm kind of a restless or curious or creative person. But it's every time I reinvent myself or start a new business, like now I've got the SamePagePublishing, which helps people with their books. It's like, oh, well, I'm comfortable doing the old thing. I could just keep on doing that. But then you end up living a Groundhog Day life. Wouldn't it be interesting to have multiple experiences? So beware the comfort zone. There's no growth there. That's a quote from my mother. What about you, Lucy? What's a favorite quote that you live by, or perhaps that your mother passed on to you?
For me, it's is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is the gift, which is why we call it the present.
I love that. That's
Hmm.
great. I can
Beautiful.
start over and give you a shorter answer to the
No,
favorite
no, no,
quote
no,
and cut
no,
to the
no. That was
chase.
fine. No, that
All
was
right.
fine. That was good.
Okay.
So all Aurora's links are in the show notes, so you can connect with her and check out and support her Kickstarter.
Thank you so much, Lucy. I really appreciated connecting with you. What a great show you've got.
Thank you.